See, in this video we will study what is meant by average velocity. I'll tell you how to find average. You have studied average in your statistics course in class 10, so you know the meaning of average. But the thing is to how to find average velocity or average speed or average acceleration. What does all these things mean, right? In physics, whenever you have any physical quantity, and suppose the physical quantity is A, and suppose it is time varying, suppose it is a function of time, then average, A average, or sometimes in physics we denote average by this sign. So average of A is given by A dt over integral dt. So integral, and you must be finding average over certain interval of time. Suppose that interval of time is 0 to t. So this t can be one time period if A is oscillating physical quantity. If A is oscillating physical quantity, this t can be one time period, right? Or in general, if it is not an oscillating physical quantity, then we find average over certain interval of time. Over certain interval of time, then you just integrate it from 0 to t, and then in denominator again you have integral dt integrated from 0 to t. This is how we find. This is the formula of getting average. The formula of getting average. Now, if I want to find average velocity, right? If you want to find average velocity over a period of time, then this will be written as v dt, and this can be, say, your time interval begins at t1 and ends at t2, and your time interval begins at t1 and ends at t2. So it can be this, so v vector. It can be written like this. And what integral v dt means? Integral v dt will mean, see, v gives you dr by dt. So v dt is dr, and integral v dt from t1 to t2 is going to be r at t2, position vector at t2, and position vector at t1. So this will be written as position vector at t2 minus position vector at t1, or we can write t2 minus t1. Or if I write this as delta r, means the difference in the position vector at time 2 minus at the end of interval minus the position vector at the beginning of interval. The difference in the position vector at the end of interval and at the beginning of interval. This is the position vector of the particle if the particle has moved along this curve, and this is your coordinate system. Then your r1t, if this is at time t1 and here is the particle at time t2, then this would be a position vector at t1, and this could be a position vector at t2. So delta r, so this is r2, or you can say this is rt2, as is rt1. So delta r, this is delta r, right? This is going to be delta r. So displacement of the particle from initial time initial displacement of the particle during this time interval. Delta r is the displacement of particle during time interval delta t. So that is how we find average. That is how you find average velocity. If you want the average of speed, speed is what? Is the magnitude of velocity you want this average, then you can do it like this. From say T1 to T2 or 0 to T and T1 to T2. Anything. You want to find the average of acceleration, then you just do it like this. A dt upon integral dt in a given time interval T1 T2. Getting a point? In this way you can write these things, right? So this is the definition of average. This is a definition of average. I'll take one question and tell you how we can apply this in finding in solving numericals. So I'll take a question on this. Look at this question. The question says, in 1 second a particle goes from point A to point B. So this question appeared in IIT JEE 99. So the question says, in 1 second a particle goes from point A to point B moving in a semicircle. The magnitude of average velocity is, these things. So I told you, if you want to find V average, that will be the displacement of the particle while it moves from A to B into delta t upon delta t. So delta t is 1 second. So in 1 second particle moves from A to B. So what is the displacement? If suppose I take this coordinate system, say x, this is y, then this is initial position, say Ri. So Ri is how much? Ri is, the radius is 1 meter, 1 j cap, is Rj. So Rj is minus 1 j. So displacement would be final position minus initial position upon delta t, that is minus 1 j cap upon 1, that is minus 2 j cap. That's the average velocity, and the magnitude of average velocity is 2. So this is your answer. This is your answer. You understand the point? So this way you can find the average. Okay. The formula you have to use is this. This is a basic formula of average, and this applies to all physical quantity. And it applies to velocity also. Any point? You can find the average acceleration also. Whenever something vary with time, we go for average, right? So average is useful concept in that case. All right. Let's stop over here. Thank you.